Univision anchor Jorge Ramos and his crew were detained against their will at the Venezuelan presidential palace in Caracas last night, not long after they began an interview with Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. Ramos said Maduro got up from the interview after he was shown this video shot by Univision, actually shot by Jorge, of some young people eating out of a garbage truck. Ramos said his team was put in a security room and the lights were turned off. I spoke to him for his first interview just before airtime. Jorge, you've just gone back to the United States after being detained in Venezuela and then basically removed from the country. Explain what happened when you sat down with Maduro.
I started the interview with Nicolas Maduro asking him if he was a president or a dictator. He just didn't like that. And then the interview went on for about 17 minutes. It was a contentious interview, I have to admit. Hopefully tough questions, that's what I thought. And then he was saying that the revolution, the Venezuelan revolution, had been a success. I told him that was not the case. And I showed him on my iPad 3 kids who were behind a trash truck eating the trash. And he just
And that's video you shot yourself or your crew shot?
Exactly. The day before with my cell phone, we were driving through Caracas, and I saw these 3 kids, incredibly hungry. They were eating trash. And then I asked them, what's happening? Why are you doing that? And they told me, we are very hungry, and Nicolas Maduro is responsible, and we need a new president. So when I was doing the interview, I just showed Nicolas Maduro what had happened, and he just couldn't take it. He broke, he stood up, he tried to cover the image, and then he said, the interview is over. And I told Nicolas Maduro, what are you saying? Why don't you just simply answer the question? This is what dictators do. And then he left. And they confiscated our 4 cameras, the video cards where the interviews were kept. And a few minutes later, they confiscated our cell phones. We were detained for 2 hours. Some agents and bodyguards put me in a little room, in a dark room, and they forcefully took my backpack and my cell phone. And this was happening in Venezuela. So he didn't like the interview. So they took our cameras, our video. They detained us for 2 hours, and then they expelled me this morning from Venezuela.
Was it Venezuelan government, or was it U.S. officials,
No.
and Mexican officials, or?
Yeah, we were Venezuelan agents. Were outside the hotel the whole night, so nobody could come in, and we couldn't leave the airport. They wanted to make sure that we were going to go directly to the airport. We were deported actually from Venezuela, and this is really interesting. Thanks to the U.S. Department. And thanks to the American Embassy in Caracas. And it's an American embassy, Anderson, because even though the relationship between Venezuela and the United States is being broken because of Maduro, the U.S. does not recognize Maduro as the real president.
Right.
They recognize Juan Guaidó. So there's a U.S. embassy in Caracas, and they helped us in 2 vehicles with bodyguards, and the Mexican embassy in Caracas, with an extra vehicle to go all the way safely from the hotel to the airport. It was a difficult moment because we didn't know what could happen. It's a dictatorship, so they can do anything they want. And we were concerned that at the airport, at some point during our journey, that they could have kidnapped us or kept us in the country without our permission, obviously.
Yeah.